Welcome back to Grade 8 Geography, Unit Number 1, Global Settlement, Patterns and Sustainability. This is Lesson Number 2, Where do people live? Population distribution refers to the patterns of how people are arranged in an area. People are not spread evenly across the Earth. This is because only 29% of the world's surface is land. Take a look at this world map. This world map shows the irregular pattern of Earth's population distribution. What I want you to consider is which parts of the world appear to have the highest populations. So just as a guide, the areas that are in white are the least populated areas, and it builds up through the yellow-orange, with the red areas being the most densely populated parts of the world. So just put the video on pause for a minute to consider which parts of the world have the highest populations. There are four main types of population distribution. Scattered distribution means that people are spread out across an entire country. In a country with a scattered distribution, communities may be far apart. In order to get to work, a hospital, or another town, a person would have to drive. Clustered distribution means that people are grouped closely together in specific locations around the country, with large parts of the country almost empty. Clustered distribution patterns are seen in wealthy countries where many people live in major cities. Linear distribution means that people are all grouped in a line along a border, a transportation route, or a body of water. Peripheral distribution means that the population surrounds a major feature like a mountain, a stadium, or a body of water. Population density is a measure of how many people live in an area. We can calculate the population density of a country, continent, or city by dividing its population by its land area. So there's a handy-dandy formula. Population density equals population divided by the area. So for example, Australia's population is 19 million. It has an area of 7,682,000 square kilometers. So plugging those numbers into our population density formula, we see that the population density of Australia is 2.47 people per square kilometer. Each country has its own population density, but they are broken up into three main categories. Countries with few people and a large area have a sparse population density. Countries with many people and a small area have a dense population density. Countries with moderate population densities fall somewhere in the middle. So take a look at this map of Canada. Which parts of Canada have sparse, moderate, and dense population densities? And I'll tell you that the white or the lighter colors um, refer to areas that have uh, more sparse populations, while parts that are in darker green and blue, those have denser populations. So put the video on pause um, and determine at least one part of Canada that has a sparse density, a moderate density, and a dense population density. Here's a table which shows examples of each type of population density. So sparse means that there are less than 15 people per square kilometer. You may be surprised that Canada is there, but that's taking the whole country into consideration. And in our first lesson, we were talking about how there are whole sections of Canada which are unsuitable for human settlement. Um, so when you take that into consideration, that's why Canada has a sparse population density. Moderate means between 15 and 150 people per square kilometer. And then dense means that there are more than 150 people per square kilometer. And again, keep in mind that population density doesn't mean just a large population. It means a large population relative to the size of the region. Okay, so for example, the United Kingdom uh, does not have a huge land area. So when you're calculating population density, the small land area is what results in a dense population. Settlements are created at a particular site and may grow over time. They may be created for agricultural, trade, transport, industrial, political, or spiritual reasons. Settlements can be as small as one house or as big as a city. Urban planners use what is called a settlement hierarchy to compare the sizes of different settlements. The smallest settlement is called a hamlet and consists of less than 100 people. A village has at least 100 people. A town has at least 1,000 people, while a city has at least 100,000 people. The largest settlement is a megacity, which has upwards of 10 million people. Just something for you to consider. Would you prefer to live in a hamlet, a megacity, or something in between? Why do population patterns matter? Well, governments need to know the population density and distribution in order to make sure that there are enough services such as education, healthcare, law enforcement, and transportation. They need to know where to build schools and bus routes. Knowing population patterns also helps a community decide how to use and preserve its natural resources. Also, looking at population patterns helps us compare different parts of the world and understand the issues that different parts of the world are facing. Okay, so I'm leaving a review challenge for you. So I'm done reading these questions. You're going to put the video on pause so that you can try them out at home. These are two activities for which you're definitely going to need a pen or pencil, a piece of paper to write down your answers. And we'll take them up at the start of our next class. So question 1 says, give one example of each type of population distribution that we can see in Canada. So an example of a scattered distribution, linear distribution, and clustered distribution in Canada. Second question, the population of Bryanland, which is awesome, is 45 million people. The area is 5 million square kilometers. Calculate the population density and state which type, sparse, moderate, or dense, it is. If you don't feel comfortable with completing these challenges, it means you need to go back and watch this video at least 2 more times. Then when you're ready, put the video on pause and record your answers to these challenges. So put the video on pause now. All right, and we'll see how everybody did at the start of our next class. But until then, this concludes today's video.